Not every ghost story makes the history books. Some survive only in whispers. Every town in Connecticut has its stories, but some are darker than others. These are the ones locals whisper about, the ones history tried to bury. If you love uncovering the hidden and the haunted, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because there's more here than you were ever meant to know. This is Dark Secrets of Haunted Connecticut. Number 5. The Melonheads of Fairfield County. The back roads of Fairfield County bends through dense woods and forgotten farmland where the night feels older than it should. Drivers say the forest changes after dark. Headlights flicker, the air thickens, and your phone goes dead. No bars, no help. You keep moving. You don't stop. Not for deer, not for shadows, not even for screams, because something lives out there. Something twisted, something born of pain. They call them melonheads. Small, pale, misshapen figures with heads swollen like overripe fruit. Eyes too big, teeth too sharp. The rumors say they were once asylum patients, children subjected to cruel experiments, locked away in a hidden facility until the fire, until their escape. Others talk about a cursed family, years of isolation, genetic decay, and something not quite human anymore. Teenagers dare each other to enter the woods. Some come back shaken. Others never talk about what they saw. Whatever the truth is, one thing remains. They're hungry. People search for missing pets, dead animals scattered like a leftover feast. The sounds don't stop. They multiply. If you see one, don't run, don't scream. Just pray it's alone. Because when the melonheads hunt, they hunt in packs. Number 4. Ghost music at Yale University. The haunting of Woolsey Hall. They say after midnight in Woolsey Hall, the music begins on its own. Woolsey is no ordinary building. It is Yale University's Grand Hall, a cavern of marble and echo, raised at the dawn of the 20th century. By day, it shines with ceremony and music. By night, it is a place of shadows. And at the heart of it all stands the great organ. Its pipes tower high above the stage, a forest of metal and wood. Once, it was the proud voice of Yale, roaring through graduations and concerts, but its darker fame comes from the nights when it plays alone. Students have sworn they heard it. Ghostly chords floating through locked doors. Custodians tell of late shifts when songs rose from the darkness, though the hall was deserted. And now and then, someone whispers of a pale figure seated at the console, hands moving across the keys, only to vanish the moment they draw near. Some say it is the spirit of a long-dead organist who refuses to leave his beloved instrument. Others believe the organ itself has a soul. Too much music, too much memory bound into its pipes to ever fall silent. Each generation at Yale has passed the legend on that the organ in Woolsey Hall plays when it wants to, and that no lock, no silence can keep it still. So if you pass Yale's campus after dark and you hear music spilling into the night air, ask yourself, is it only the wind moving through ancient pipes? Or is it a concert played by something that does not rest? Number 3. Jewett City vampires. It started in Jewett City, Connecticut, the Ray family. Quiet people, long roots, nothing unusual, until the dying began. One by one, their relatives started to fade, slowly, quietly, like something was pulling the life out of them piece by piece. It didn't feel like a crisis. It felt like bad luck. Until the pattern refused to break. Their skin went pale, their lips darkened, and their eyes wouldn't shut, even after death. Nobody had answers. So when another family member got sick, the Rays stopped searching for a cure and started digging for a cause. The vampire panic of 1800s New England wasn't born from myth. It came from paranoia, panic, and fear. The kind that spreads faster than sickness. When death came in patterns, same symptoms, same bloodline, medicine couldn't explain it. The first to die became the suspect, believed to be feeding off the living. So they opened a coffin, searching for signs. What they found didn't look like death. The body was too preserved, the skin too full, as if blood had kept it warm. It was all the proof they needed. They cut out the heart, broke the bones, and let the fire finish what death hadn't. Even after the rituals, the illness didn't stop. Years passed before medicine caught up, before the fear had a name, and the cure wasn't fire. The story isn't hidden. It's part of the town now. That fear never left. It settled into the rhythm of the place, quiet and constant, impossible to name. Bad luck hangs close in this place. Not chasing, just waiting, like it's part of the cost of being here. And for whatever reason, leaving never feels clean. People drift back, plans unravel, and luck turns in ways that don't make sense. The shadow doesn't just linger, it holds on. Years later, some kids wandered into the woods just outside town and found a grave. No marker, no coffin, no clue who was buried there. Archaeologists called it JB 55, but what they found wasn't normal. The skeleton had been rearranged, skull placed over crossed femurs, chest smashed in. Whatever this was, it wasn't meant to comfort the living or the dead. And the man in that grave had died of the same wasting illness that haunted the Ray family. But he hadn't died in Jewett City, which meant the panic didn't start here. It arrived, carried in blood, in breath, in a cough that only ceased when the lungs did. The panic moved on, the rituals faded, but the shape of the fear stayed the same. A sickness with no cure, a grave with no name, and a town that still feels like it's waiting for something to rise. Number 2, Blackwell's Brook, Cry Baby Bridge. Nestled in the back roads of Brooklyn, Connecticut, there's a covered bridge that locals pass every day without a second thought. By daylight, its simple New England charm, weathered beams, water sliding quietly below. But when the storms move in, people here call it something else. The Cry Baby Bridge. Officially, it's known as Levi's Mill Bridge. The structure standing today was built in 2010, but it's only the latest in a long line. For nearly 2 centuries, Blackwell's Brook has torn down whatever crossed it. An older bridge was swept away in the Great Flood of 1884. Others collapsed under time and weather. Each time, the town built it back. And each time, the legend returned with it. For generations, travelers have sworn they heard it, a thin, desperate cry rising from beneath the timbers. The sound follows you across the span, then vanishes when you lean over the rail. Where the cries come from depends on who you ask. Some speak of a young woman who came to the brook with her child and was never seen again, her sorrow bound to the water. Others recall a wagon overturned in a flood, a baby swept away and never recovered. And there are those who say it's no child at all, but a spirit luring the living closer to the brook. Those who dare to stop in the center of the bridge and wait in silence often claim the cries return. A few tell of wet handprints left on the wood, and more than one insists the sound followed them home, fading only with the dawn. Today, Levi's Mill Bridge stands steady over Blackwell's Brook. But ask anyone in Windham County, and they'll tell you this will always be the Crybaby Bridge, a place where history and heartbreak flow together and refuse to be forgotten. And now, number 1, Maud's Grave. Hell's Hollow doesn't echo. No bird song, no wind, no footsteps behind you, just a stillness that feels wrong. It looks peaceful in the sun, too peaceful, like the woods are pretending. Deep in that quiet, the forest holds a grave marked with one word, Maud. No last name or epitaph, just the word Maud, carved into cement, like someone hoped it would be enough to remember her. The stories twist in different directions, none quite matching the grave, yet each one feels disturbingly close. One tells of a native girl hunted by British soldiers and buried in secret, so her spirit wouldn't follow. Another speaks of a witch and her daughter chased into the woods by superstitious townspeople, driven like animals through the underbrush, nowhere to hide, persecuted and left to die where the forest watched and did nothing. There's mention of another Maud, a child lost in October of 1890 before turning 2 years old. Her grave lay within view of the mother and father who couldn't bear to let her go. It's a story saturated in grief rather than terror, the kind of sorrow that stays quiet and close, like her life belonged to a gentler place. But Hell's Hollow doesn't hold grief that way. It keeps what festers. Maud isn't alone anymore. Teenagers still come here to party. Warm beer, cigarette smoke, flashlights that flicker for no reason. And sometimes they don't make it home. A curve taken too fast. A tree that didn't move. A silence that never ends. Drivers talk about the girl in the road, barefoot, pale, staring straight ahead. She doesn't cry. She doesn't speak. But she watches. And if you laugh too loud, if you disrespect her final resting place, if you treat this place like a dare, she follows. Not out of curiosity, but out of something bitter. She doesn't like being disturbed. She doesn't like being forgotten. And she doesn't like the living. Hell's Hollow doesn't forgive. It remembers who stayed. And legends don't die. They wait for company. That was the final secret. And you stayed until the very end. Thank you for walking these haunted roads with us. Leave a ghost emoji in the comments so we know you made it. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Lost Pages Studios, where the shadows never read.